Hello everyone and welcome. I'm going to be installing some items here on this 2024 Integra Type S. That is Cherry Bomb, as I've named her. So what we're doing today is we are replacing the stock subwoofer that comes with this. It's the ELS Studio 3D. I believe it's an actual Panasonic speaker system. But we're going to be replacing that with this. This is the Palindrome Labs Kit. It comes with a insert standoff. Basically what it does is it lifts the subs out, the subwoofer out of the box. As a result, the stock grill that comes with it doesn't quite work, so we're going to have to install the Palindrome Labs grill kit over it. All this came with the Palindrome's kit. Got your screws. Here you've got these small screws. We'll go through what that is later. And we are going to be installing this audio control. It's the Spike speaker. It's an SPK. It's actually the 8S2. It's the 2 ohm kit. Comes with all of its hardware here. And as you saw, decided to do this video after I'd already begun. I attached this to get my holes lined up. What you're going to need, got a 4mm hex bit here, a P2 or number 2 Phillips, a 1/8 drill bit, of course a drill. I've got a light, T20 Torx bit here. All right, first up, we got to pull out some molding and some trim stuff. I installed the Acura. Got this in the Dream Shop, a little cargo net back here. If you got that installed or they installed it for you at the dealership, it's got to come off. So if you didn't do the install, you may not know how to remove it. It's actually really straightforward. There's one of those on, it's one of those on both sides. And this thing just screws off. And we'll do that on both sides. There's a little collar here that comes out. If you drop it, you'll probably be able to find it. So just put that off to the side. Do both sides. All right, so I already did this off camera, but lift your little floor cover here, the tray cover of your trunk. Pull that up out of the way because you got to free this piece of this piece has to be able to lift up. Along here, you've got little just plastic clips. They just come loose. You just pull up on them and they come out. And pull the piece free. Set it aside. So I pulled out your emergency tray here to get this moved, and then I went ahead, moved the seats, leaned the rear seats, popped them loose, leaned them forward. This is the floor tray cover. All right, so next we've got to get this pulled away. It's just held in by little plastic studs. We'll start by trying to pull the rubber trim away. And you see I'm not applying a whole lot of force here, and this is coming loose. So now that should loosen this up. right, so we're working on, it looks like I've got to get this piece pulled off. And it looks like there's just some clips in here holding it. All right, trying this tool now. I'm trying to get these little plastic studs loose. They're like all the others, but for some reason these two are hanging on a little tighter. I don't want to break anything. Okay, they just wanted to be tight. Got it. Show you right here. So just these little plastic things, they pull away. All right. And for whatever reason, it was being particularly annoying. So here you've got a clip. This is the light, your rear trunk light. Looks like a standard clip here, just push and pull. No, I've not disconnected the battery. If you feel like you need to, please go ahead. All right, so there it is. That's the subwoofer we're going to be replacing. All right, so it helps to read instructions. I went back and read the Palindrome Labs instructions. I'm going to go ahead and pull this whole box out. I've already pulled the speaker out, but pull the box out first. Nut down there. Bolt here, or another nut here. Bolt right there. I've already pulled it out. And then right back there, another 10 millimeter bolt. All right, once those are done, just disconnect this little guy and the whole box comes out. All right, when you unplug this cable here, you'll see that this brown circle is still attached to the box. I pulled it out so that you could actually see what it looks like. See, you got these two little ends and you have to crimp them. So I was able to get it with just my fingers and a little bit of wiggling. It's kind of a tight space back there, so you might need some pliers or something, but you just squeeze those, get those together, and this pops loose off the box. So now the box is out. All right, so next, we got some, looks like we got Torx bits here. Got 4 of them around the speaker. We're going to pull those off. I'm going to have to do that off screen because I need both hands, but I'm just pulling those off. All right, so I pulled out the T20 Torx bit screws that was holding this in here. And you see, we're just connected with some spade attachments here. But this runs all the way up here and attaches here. And I think this is why Crutchfield was saying, hey, here's you a piece. But I don't think we're going to need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these. It looks like those will just wiggle off easy enough. Sorry for the shake. Hard to do this with one hand. I'm sorry. So this is your super amazing, awesome ELS audio subwoofer. The magnet is not this entire big housing. I can barely see it in here. This thing is tiny. And for those of you who don't know, the magnet is what makes the speaker move in and out, shakes air. That vibration of air is what gives you the noise. So let's do a quick comparison here. That whole thing, that is all the magnet for this speaker. And something like this is the magnet for this speaker. This versus like this. So it's no wonder we don't hear any, you know, the bass is so low in our cars. All right, so this is the template that you're going to get with the audio controller. This is what Palindrome Labs has chosen to ship with their mounting kit. But you realistically could use any, you know, appropriately sized 8-inch subwoofer, and they'll come with a template, and you should, you know, use that template to align your holes. But since this is the kit that Palindrome offers, Palindrome Labs offers, this is the kit that I'm going to use. So it's got my instructions here for how to mount. I checked with Palindrome Labs. I asked about using the countersunk option. I really liked the idea of using, you know, these metal screws versus, you know, wood screws, holding it into wood or what have you. He said that because of the thickness of the kit here, I shouldn't do that. So I'm gonna follow his guidance, and I'm gonna end up using the wood screws. So what I've done is I've attached the template, I've got it centered, and then I just used a thumbtack to punch my holes. So I'm gonna drill those spots all the way around, and we'll be ready to go. So we're gonna be using a 1/8 inch drill bit. And I've just taped off. What I'm doing is I'm going to the depth. I'm only going to drill as deep as the screw needs to be. It's a little short, as you can tell, so no big deal. But that's what we're going to do. I'm just using that tape as a guide so I don't have to, you know, so I don't drill too far. All right, so we've got the box here, got our cables. And this makes a whole lot more sense to do it this way than what I was trying to do. So anyway, got my, got the mount drilled, got all my drill points done. So we're just gonna test fit it here real quick. Looks like all my holes, I'm just checking to make sure the 4 pre-drilled holes that came from Palindrome Labs, make sure they're lining up, and they are. So next, I'm going to take the 4 supplied screws from Palindrome Labs, these very long ones. And they'll go into the pre-drilled holes that Palindrome Labs sent with this down, and they'll lock this into place. All right, I want to show you what I've done here. So I have screwed the Palindrome Labs screws, the 4 supplied long ones, in until they're just starting to poke through the other side. I did that on all 4. And what that's going to allow me to do is when I put this on, it will allow me to, just like that, I just felt them align with the holes that are on this subwoofer box. So I just felt them all sit into it, and now we'll just seat them. All right, so I am barely putting any torque on these to seat them. I'm not cranking them down really hard. They don't have to be, and that's stable. That is, it's not going anywhere. So all I'm doing is I'm just making a light little mark on 3 of these that I can see easily. And that will tell me that that's where the holes are, so I can get the subwoofer lined up and the screws put in correctly. All right, next is Palindrome Labs. They supplied this strip of, looks like it's some sort of maybe a neoprene or something, but it just goes around this wooden edge. There's one already that comes with the spacer here on the back side, and what that does is that just seals the box. It gives a soft liner. Otherwise, if it's a hard on hard, what you'll end up with is a vibration. Sounds like doo-doo. So this absorbs that vibration so you don't get those weird sounds. So I'm just going to put that on now. All right, so the audio controller, and I'm sure a lot of subs come this way. There's a rubber thing here and a grill. This grill and this rubber border, it's got to come off. Now, the instructions say to line this up and drill your holes to where the audio control is set up straight. I didn't do that. What I'm going to do though is I want to make sure, as I'm looking at the box, the length of wire that's here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these spade attachments off. I'm going to strip the wire back, and then these are just spring loaded. You push them down, you put you put the stripped bare wire in there, you let it up, and it's done. It's good to go, right? Red to red, black to black, super easy. But because this is coming in from the top, I want to make sure I have enough length, which means when I install this, if I install it AC up, I don't know that I can get, or I think that's the way the audio controller emblem is supposed to go. If you look, that puts these connections at the bottom. Now, I could get a longer length of cable and figure something out here, but since this is going to be covered anyway by the grill, what I want to do is I'm going to install this basically with the audio control label upside down so that my connections are closest to the wire, so I've got the most amount of length as I'm connecting it and installing this. All right, so I've stripped enough wire off here for it to go completely through without going too far through that connector on the back of the subwoofer. And now I'm going to attach it and put the subwoofer in. All right, so the wires are attached. The subwoofer is now sitting in the box. I have aligned my screw holes with the marks that I made before I began here on the side, so that I know that just under that is where my pilot holes are at. Now I'm just going to use the screws supplied with the audio controller kit. So there's two types of screws here for two different types of mounting. There's this machine screw, and it goes with this recessed system, and this is the one that Palindrome Labs said don't use that, don't do that one. And so we're going to use this one, a bit more of a self-tapping wood type screw, and we're just going to put those in. This is going to use a 4mm hex. All right, so just so little technique I just used, since I'm going blind against these, I had 3 that I marked, and they were separated by a little bit of distance. I got a hole lined up, and I'm hand starting these. I want to feel them grab into those pilot holes, and if it feels like I'm drilling into something, then I'm obviously not on the hole. So I found my one, and I used another one, another marked that was off a little bit, and I got my holes aligned, because the spacer here actually has a little bit of wiggle room for the subwoofer. So got to make sure that these are lined up. So I went around and I made sure that I started all these by hand to make sure I was actually in the pilot holes before I went full bore with a drill. All right, so there we go. Subwoofer is installed in the box, and now that's all. Now we just got to put the box back in and get the grill installed. We got the box installed back in with the new audio control subwoofer. It's plugged back up. All the screws are on. Pro tip, so that you don't end up fighting like I did. Get your studs, the ones with nuts, here, back up here. Attach those two pieces of plastic. Hang the box on those before. Don't do that one first. Just trust me. That one. But anyway, get those on. It's back attached. Next up is we've got to get this grill off. Okay. Now, the term that's used are hot welds. I'm going to see what I can do with this. Okay, as I'm looking at these, what they seem to be some kind of a little plastic rivet design, maybe. So this round piece is on a stud, and it's wrapped around this liner, and I'm trying not to just annihilate the liner to get this out. So I'm going to mess around with this and see if I can figure out a nice way to get it removed. All right, what I ended up doing is I took I don't know, whatever this is, quarter inch drill bit. And I drilled into those little plastic studs, wallowed them out. And, well, this thing is, this thing's thoroughly not going to ever work again. And it looks like crap now, destroyed. But that's fine, because that's what we're doing. We're getting rid of it. All right, next up, I've got the everything prepped. This is the last piece to get installed. Palindrome Labs sends these screws already in, but you have to pull them off, because what these do is you set the grill on the outside of your of the carpeted trim, and then you use these screws to attach this to the trim. So we're going to go ahead and just pull these screws off. All right, so I got to this stage and I had to stop. I contacted Palindrome Labs for a quick little tech support session. So let me show you how this is designed, so when y'all come up against this, you'll know what we're doing. As you can see, the stock grill actually fits inside the Palindrome Labs grill. And on your liner, there's a contour here where your stock grill set on that, or set inside that. The Palindrome Labs is designed to sit around that. And so you have to find, basically you have to find where that high point is, where it sits around. Okay? Now, it's going to take you a little trial and error to find where that exact perfect, where it sits is at. And what you're going to find out is that it's going to feel like it's not completely flush at every single spot, and that's okay. According to the Palindrome's tech support, that's by design. What will happen is as you put the screws on, the liner will deform and match up and pull flush with your default kit. So you kind of got to find where that absolute best spot is at for you, for your kit. And then you got to come on the back side, and the pre-drilled holes, there's 7 of them all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These pre-drilled holes are where the screws came out of. And what you're going to do is you want to find that and punch a hole through the back into one of the, pick one of these holes and poke a hole through it with a thumbtack. And once you know where that's at, get a screw on this, and now you've got a base that you can rotate on, get it all aligned exactly perfect, and then finish doing the rest of the screws. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, I'll show you what I just finished doing to make this happen. I basically made a template, a couple of 8.5 by 11 copy paper. If you got legal, it'll actually work better. I laid this over the Palindrome Labs grill, and I just stuck thumbtacks in to mark the spots. And then I took and laid, once I figured out where I wanted my grill to go for, one reference point, I then put the template up here and stabbed through, replaced screws as I went, and there we have it. There's the install. I put the backlight plug back in, and we're just going to get this all buttoned up. All right, so there we go. Final install. The Palindrome Labs kit. This goes in this is in my Acura Integra Type S, the DE5, replacing the weaker subwoofer. And you see everything fits underneath. Everything fits underneath quite nicely. There's no issues. I can pull this out of the way, and that's the underfloor. That's the door underneath, and it comes up right with about 1.5 to 2 inches to spare. So fits really good, looks really good, I think. And time to hear it. I doubt it's going to come through good on my phone, but we'll see.
You know we are the infinity.